especially because when they get on, they take up like 5 seats.
There you go. Hey guys, how you doing? Hey Bill, everybody.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, can you hear us?
Yes, sweet. Also on the line, we've got Rob from ShipHawk. Rob, can you hear us?
I can. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining this morning. All right, so I'm gonna get some stuff going here. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna get your ShipHawk going. So while I do that, the agenda for today is to review all of the end user functionality of ShipHawk. So what that's gonna be is navigation through the system, logging in, the order processing through ShipHawk, especially batch processing, which there's a heavy focus on for you guys. And then there's gonna be shipment management, a little bit of reporting, and that's it. It's not a really long agenda. It'll take us about 45 minutes. And with this, if there are any questions that come up during it, feel free to ask. This training is for you guys. And so I'm also going to record it, going to post it to Basecamp so you guys can use it for reference later, train other people going forward. So with that, I'll start sharing my screen with you guys.
Cool. And let me just kind of set the scene here for you, Rob. Here in the middle is Marcy. She kind of oversees all our operations, including our warehouse and manufacturing. On the left in the ball cap is Lou. He's our warehouse manager. And on the right in the yellow is Xander. Xander is Lou's right hand, helps make sure everything runs smooth in the warehouse. So these are going to be our 3 super users are on site here. And guys, Rob is from ShipHawk. He's been helping us with implementation thus far. My goal for this training is for him to kind of teach you about the software. The 4 of us can regroup afterwards if there are any like really deep fundamental questions. Our goal here is to shoot to go live with ShipHawk roughly a week from today, but we can always push that back if we're not feeling good about it. So I wanted to get you guys trained so you become fluent in the platform today, and then the 4 of us can kind of spend the next week, doing tests, running it on live orders, etc. And then I figured a Friday would be a good day to launch because that's our least crazy day rather than launching on a Monday. So my tentative thing is to shoot for a week from today. If we don't make that, is no harm, no foul. We can just roll to the following Friday, no biggie. So on this, we're going to get this on video or on recording for future folks. If there are any like major rabbit holes, we can always go down them separately. I want to make sure that kind of my goal on this session is for you guys to understand how the platform works, see the interface, let Rob explain to you the flows, kind of how it will work. You're welcome to ask some questions. But if we get into I just don't want to go down any like majorly deep rabbit holes here because we've got a whole week to do that. All right. Cool.
Very good. All right, guys.
Rob.
All right, well, let's get started. So, so you can see my screen already. So this is the login page for ShipHawk, an important place to be if you want to use the software. So the link you're going to see up top is going to be shiphawk.com/app/sign in. I would bookmark that. I don't have to worry about having to remember a link. But if you want to type it out every single time, feel free. I like a nice shortcut to this. So once you've navigated to this link, you're going to be greeted by a sign-in page. You're going to put in your email address right up top here. So I'm going to put mine in for this account. And then also your password. If you forgot your password, you're going to click on this forgot password link. It's going to ask you for your email address, and then it's going to send you a magic link to reset your password from there. It's like any other website that you've ever used before if you've forgotten your password. Very, very similar to that. So we're going to assume you know your password here for this training. So email, password, click on sign in. And this is the dashboard of ShipHawk. It's an executive dashboard, a little business intelligence light, and it's going to be showing you the operations through ShipHawk at Elements Brands. So let's talk about what we're seeing here. And also what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up one that's has a little more data in it. I'm going to get the VPN here. Give me 2 seconds. But while it does that, I'll tell you what you're seeing today in here. So on the left-hand have a look at. So you have somebody have a question?
No, sorry, you kind of cut out for a second. We just didn't know if it froze or what was going on.
Oh, sure. I think it was me connecting to my VPN. So cut out for a second. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
All right, so left-hand side is gonna let us control what date range we're looking at. So by default, it's the last 90 days. You can change that to something a little more recent, last 7. You're gonna see as I do that, that will change. This is all test data that's in here right now, so it doesn't really reflect what you do at Elements today. But here, for instance, if I go to my demo environment, then you'll see something that looks a little more realistic.
And guys, the reason ours is light is we're not delivering all orders to ShipHawk right now. We're just delivering a subset so we can test.
So here you're going to see a lot more information being displayed, and I'm probably going to work with this a little bit more for this training. So last 90, we talked about the last 7 right here. So you're going to see as I change the filter, it's going to change the information being displayed. You can go year to date, want to see how it's going in 2021, or you can go with all time. One note about all time is that even in your environment, the beginning of time is January 1st, 2016. It's not the date you signed with ShipHawk. It's not the date you started using ShipHawk. It's just January 1st, 2016. So nothing wrong there. So, and we'll go back to the last 90 days because that's the default. And then once we determine what date range we want to work with, what are we actually seeing within this dashboard? So total orders, revenue for those orders, total shipments, the shipping cost per order, a little bit high here in this environment. So, and then average cost per, delivery promise, ship promise is pretty good right here. Then in the middle is orders, a visual representation of orders versus shipments over time. You can see how that's trending. Then tasks. Tasks is probably the best thing in here as far as a tactical thing, because this is what I have to do today. So how many new orders do I have in the system? And new orders are just things I haven't yet processed. And I've got about 9,700 to work with today. Got nothing picking up. How many things are delivering today? How many are delivering in the next 14 days? How many are in transit? And then how many exceptions have I noted in ShipHawk about any shipments? Perhaps it's refused due to hazardous materials, delays for whatever reason. And I've noted that. That's what's tracking right here under exceptions. And we move down to the bottom of it, top lanes. So origin, destination, average cost, how many shipments you've done on that lane. You can see that. Then performance for the carriers that you have in ShipHawk. So the carrier, on-time promise percentage, on-time delivery, average cost per, and then number of shipments you've done. The last is just top carriers. It's just a simplified version of this guy. So how many shipments you've done on each carrier within ShipHawk. So this dashboard here, you can only see it if you're set as an admin in ShipHawk or you're set as a shipping manager. If you are set as a shipping clerk, you will not be greeted by this upon login. You can't even get here. So do be aware of that. Also, if you navigate away from this dashboard, perhaps I'm working with orders within ShipHawk and I want to get back to my dashboard, top left-hand corner, click on ShipHawk and you're back and you're right back to where you were. So that's the dashboard of ShipHawk, just a nice simple look into how fulfillment's going at Elements Brands. Any questions on what you saw there?
So this center graph is very similar to our current ShipStation kind of orders versus shipments. It's a double line graph instead of a line and a bar.
All right, well, let's move on to orders. So within ShipHawk, we're gonna worry about how to find orders. I'm gonna show you a lot of functionality within here. The main takeaway is going to be that you're gonna use the search functionality within here to find your orders. Eventually, this is the most powerful tool within here. I like using it a lot. But I'm going to show you how to sort your orders, group your orders, how to find things within ShipHawk. So I'm going to get out of this demo environment because we want to work with your data. So I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to go to orders right up top here. So, and then let's start with something similar to what we did before is how do I control what orders am I looking at? So by default, ShipHawk's going to show you new orders. And again, new orders are just orders you haven't processed yet. So that's a good description of them. So I got a count of how many are out there right now. Moving down to picking, that means you printed a pick ticket for it in ShipHawk. It doesn't indicate that you've done anything in NetSuite. It just means you printed a pick ticket in ShipHawk. Right now we have 40 out there that are currently being picked. And I'll click on that to show those. So loads them up right there. Everything is currently being picked in ShipHawk. We have on hold. That means I placed an order on hold in ShipHawk. There are a couple ways of doing that, which I will show you. And if the order is on hold, that means I can't ship this out. There's something wrong with it. Need to hold it up. Can't ship it. So on hold is where those orders will live in ShipHawk. Partially shipped. That means you tell ShipHawk that you are not shipping everything that's on the sales order. And if you do that, ShipHawk will say, hey, we're noticing that you're trying to short ship this. Are you sure you want to do that? You'll say, in some cases, of course, yes, I'm sure I want to do that. If you do, the order will automatically move into a partially shipped status and live there. So it's a good way to track back orders or anything where there's a balance to be fulfilled. Then we move to shipped. There are orders that have been shipped. That's exactly what it sounds like. Then delivered, then just everything. And then the last piece here is something we're going to turn on is there is a service that we can enable that looks for any orders in NetSuite that have been closed, but still exist in ShipHawk in any one of these statuses. If that's true, then ShipHawk will move it to a canceled status. You also won't be able to find the order by searching by the sales order number or even a batch ID or any attribute of the order. So you'd have to really go looking for it there so you don't accidentally misship something. And then the last thing you're going to see right here is batches. I'm going to talk about that when we talk about how to process orders, because that's really going to what you'll be doing a ton of in ShipHawk. So we're going to leave that for a little bit later. So I'm going to bring us back to new, where you're primarily going to work out of. And then we're back to where we started there. So that's how I modified the view based on statuses of the order. That takes us to the middle of this. What is all this information? What is ShipHawk trying to tell me? I think a lot of this is pretty intuitive as to what it's trying to tell you, but we're going to review most of this here. So let's start with the top left and work ourselves to the right. So your order number, that order number convention should be familiar to you. So you can see all those guys right there. The column headers you see me doing immediately, you can resize these. So hover over the division there, start dragging it. You can resize it and it will remember that. Any customizations you make, as I show you, it will remember them. It will follow you. It's tied to your login. So if you work at more than one pack station or any computer, it follows you. And it doesn't affect anybody else. It's tied to your login. So your ShipHawk is yours to customize. So, but going forward with more informational stuff, date. This is the date it arrived into ShipHawk. So, and you got all those working down descending. You can change the sort on that by clicking on the column header. You'll sort it around the other way. Do it again. Sorts it back to where we started. So you're able to do it on almost all of these columns, ascending and descending sorting by clicking on the header. The age.
And because we're live with NetSuite, the date that it arrives in ShipHawk is the date of the order. So there shouldn't be any lag there.
So then SKU, if there's one SKU on the order, it tells you what SKU it is. So I've got a lot of those orders in here. If you happen to have a multi-SKU order, it would say multiple SKUs in here. And that's just for cleanliness of presentation. I'm not trying to hide anything, just makes it easier as a user. Same thing with SKU name. If there's one SKU, it tells you what it is. If there are multiple SKUs, it tells you multiple items in there. Company. So that's going to be sourced from NetSuite, from the address information that we're getting from the order right there. If available, it populates it here in this column. Name is the name of the recipient. Source, it's going to be NetSuite. It's always going to be NetSuite from here. And integration, NetSuite production, always going to be that too. Batch, again, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. That's going to tell you what batch that order is currently a part of within this column. Going to be pretty valuable for you guys. Warehouse, that's just the warehouse it's being fulfilled from. So that should be pretty consistent as well. Tags, I don't believe we're leveraging that for this implementation. Tags would be textual notes about an order that tells somebody as a user to do something different than they normally would. Not going to review those for this one since we're not using them, so we'll move on from that.
Hey Rob, I'll jump in and say that I'm sure we will use tags. And guys, tags are enabled. You can use them on day one. None of these orders happen to be tagged though.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah, thanks for.
And Rob, maybe I know this might be a little off script. If you would give me like a minute to share my screen, I've customized my columns in a way that I think might be a little bit more relevant for these guys.
That's great. Yeah.
In prep for this training. So let me just show you this real quick, and then I'll give it back to Rob, guys. So this is how I've customized my columns. You can condense this recipient information all into a single column, which saves you width here. Batch and tags, which Rob will show you how batching works. Quantity is total quantity on the order and total dollars, so you can kind of see how much how big an order this is. And then I've also got here columns for carrier service and channel name, and also is Prime. So all of these happen to be Amazon orders because those are the ones we're feeding into ShipHawk right now as test data. But you would be able to see the store name, the brand name here, or Amazon in the channel name. And then remember the difference between one of the big strengths of ShipHawk is that it's going to try to automatically choose carrier and service already. So you can go ahead, and Rob will get into the group by functionality. So you can go ahead and group by, say, carrier, and do all the FedEx orders at once in a single batch. So you can see this, and all of these columns are customizable here, just like they are in ShipStation. You can turn things on, turn things off, etc. So just want to give you a little preview of how you can really make it look however you want it to look. And with that, I'll throw it back to Rob.
Sure. Excellent. All right. Yeah, that really helps illustrate the strengths of the customization. So let's go back to here from excellent. So I think we looked at, we were talking about tags, and definitely going to use them. They're really easy to use, easy to automate as well. So they automatically appear within this column and on the order. Total is just the total of the order, how many SKUs are on there. Notes. This is a field of which certainly you could add notes into. The origin of these is actually in NetSuite at the sales order level. So if anybody typed anything into the ShipHawk Notes tab field in ShipHawk, in NetSuite, then they would appear here and sync over. Also, if you typed anything to the notes field on the order, it would also sync back to NetSuite. So I believe you're leveraging an internal notes field right now. It's the same thing. We'll be using that field that you're familiar with today to populate this guy here. Then talking about service right there, we again, the strength of ShipHawk is to automate the carrier decisions and the packaging decisions. So we've got that already populated in here. We have, is Prime for Amazon orders, and here as well as a value you can use. Bin number, that's something I believe we're not going to be using. And that brings me to some of the customizations. These column headers, you can sort them, from left to right in any fashion. So if you hover over the column header, you get a 4-way arrow right there. If you click on it, you start dragging it, you can move it from left to right. I would suggest all the things that are high value data points live on the left-hand side, because that's where ShipHawk's going to default you to, is over here. The stuff that's not needed all the time, I'd suggest it live on the far right of it. Or even if it's not valuable at all, why have it on the screen? So under the columns customization dropdown, which it lives right here, if I click on that, anything that's currently checked has a green check mark on it, that means it's currently in view. So if something like perhaps bin number, which I know I'm not going to use, if I just uncheck it by clicking on it, now it's not there anymore. And that is going to be something that's specific to your login, saying I don't need to see that. So I'd encourage you to modify this as you feel is best, or based on Bill's advice as well, what he knows works best as well, and eases the transition to ShipHawk. So that's how that would be customized in here. There are a couple of predefined flavors of layouts here. So the standard view is what you would see if you did nothing, simple view. So you can play around with that, and then also just manually modify. And then you can, if you want to go back to square one, reset the default view, and that brings you back to the stock layout of ShipHawk. One other thing over here, there's a list of values button up at the top. There are 3 things you can do from here. One, you can place an order on hold. So if something up with it, I don't want anybody to ship it, place it on hold, and that's going to be pretty effective. You can also edit orders straight from here. I'm not going to the far right to do this though. The easiest way to edit an order in ShipHawk is going to be by clicking on the order, and it opens it up for you, and you can make any changes to it that you may need to. So I would not be going over to the far right to do that. So back to our orders, back to the far right. The last thing in here is delete. That deletes the order from ShipHawk. Doesn't delete it from NetSuite, just deletes it from ShipHawk. I don't see a use case for that. I see it only to clean up some of these orders before going live, and that's about it. So you can kind of ignore that right there.
Hey, Rob,
so,
quick question.
Yeah.
Is there a way from inside of ShipHawk, is there an action you can take that will cancel the order in NetSuite, or no?
No, it doesn't. We rely upon the cancellation of NetSuite to get rid of it in ShipHawk, or move it to cancel the closing.
If it's removed in NetSuite, it will disappear from ShipHawk. But if you delete it in ShipHawk, that doesn't actually delete the record in NetSuite.
Right.
Okay, cool. So we should initiate order cancellations from inside of NetSuite.
Yes, definitely. Excellent. All right. And then just a couple other things in here. This is how I'm going to be able to start grouping my orders, and that's probably the best thing you can be doing here from a day on a day to day, because we're going to need a way to find what orders I want to batch process. And so I'm going to start first with grouping right there. I think it's the most powerful. So the default grouping is just nothing, so you can see that right there. But for groupings, commonly I see it by SKU. And for batch processors, might see it by carrier as well. For end of day, UPS is showing up, want to see what is still hanging out there as well. So you're going to see if I group it on SKU, you see all of this one hanging out right here, showing me everything that exists for that right there. You can also collapse that down. So if I click on the little arrow, that's going to collapse it down, shows me the next set of SKUs there. Then I can keep collapsing. And then bring them on back right there. So with these groupings here, what's nice about this is that you can select individual ones when you want to batch process these guys. You can also just select everything in the group right here. So that will select everything for that SKU, and you're going to see that it doesn't select everything else there, just that SKU right there. And then uncheck that. The kind of complement to that, which would select everything, is the very top left. If you want to select every single thing you saw in view, it's this up top. You want to deselect everything, you click it again, it deselects everything. So I think you're going to be doing it by group right here. So this SKU, give me all of them, and I want to process them. So I'm going to deselect those, and I'm going to mess around with some of the groupings there, show you what you could group it by. I think SKU is going to be what you're going with, though. And you can group only on one thing at a time. So if you want to change that, let's say I go by, again, carrier, just as an example, then it brings that out, collapse it down, whole lot of FedEx, got some Pitney Bowes there as well. So, and then none too. So the case for if you would see none there would be that ShipHawk couldn't determine a proposed shipment for you. So that kid couldn't determine the carrier because I have some missing data. So, and then last for grouping is I want to reset my grouping, just click none up the top. And that brings you back to where you were in an ungrouped set of orders. You have filters too that will help you find orders. So if you click on the little funnel, you can use any of these attributes here to do that. So date is created, the source system date, the date it was last updated, channel name, Amazon. That would be a good one here if you're looking for those orders. So I can type that in there. And then if I want to apply that filter, you're going to go down to apply. And it finds all of the orders that are there. And I believe it might be Amazon. There is the apply. That is case sensitive. Lot better right there. So that shows me all the orders that are Amazon right there. And if I threw channel into there, which you guys will have, and scroll that over just a little bit. I think that's hanging out. Let me close that out. Yeah, it's right there. So you can see all the Amazon orders for you. So that'll be a practical use of the filter within ShipHawk. So I'll bring that back, bring my customization of the filter back by clicking on the funnel. And if you wanted to change it, you can change any of these things in place and then click apply. You can use multiple values to filter on at one time. Also, you can reset your filter by going down to the bottom and hitting reset filters. The one thing I would look at here is it's going to be a nice reconciliation or auditing thing is this missing proposed shipments. The core strength, again, is ShipHawk is going to try to determine how you should ship this, but there are going to be times if you have missing data that it cannot do that. So this is a nice tool to show you everything that you cannot currently batch process because there's no shipment. And that's pretty good too. That's probably an older order here that's none. So 1 out of about 900 here, that's a pretty good success rate. And that's probably just an outlier again. So, but this is a nice auditing tool here. And then I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to get our filter back to showing us everything. So that's how you filter in ShipHawk. It's probably very similar to what you're using today. So I'm going to close out of that filter. A couple other things that help refine the search is, and this view, text size. Big is the default here. I think that's pretty readable, pretty bold here. If you want to make that larger, large is the largest you can use here. So that's just a little bit bigger right there. I'm going to go all the way to the opposite end, say tiny. And as promised, it is tiny. And then big right there. And this is specific to you. So based on your preferences, you can have any text size you like from that list. Last thing is search orders. This searches everything about your orders. And if you type in, for instance, you could use your batch IDs that you're going to be bringing over from NetSuite. You can use sales order numbers here. You could use totes if you move to those. Really anything about the order is exposed. So for instance, I want to even just Amazon would give me anything in there. So Bill, help me out here a little bit. What do you see the practical use for searching here? Are we going to be grouping more often than not, or
I think we'll be grouping a lot more than searching. Searching would be if you're just looking for an individual order.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
Also,
grouping is where it's at.
filtering and grouping, I think, is the better place to spend some time.
I think so too. So this searches everything. So an order number, any attribute about it. If you're looking for a particular order, this is great. It gives it to you. You can refine that search by default. It's a contains and it searches all of these attributes, but you can make it more specific and more pinpointed. So everything you saw there, that's how to find orders, okay, and getting around ShipHawk. So next, what we're going to move to is processing orders. But before I do that, are there any questions before we proceed?
Good, thank you.
Excellent. All right. So batch processing, let's take a look at this guy. So let's first start by grouping. I think that's what you're going to do. So I'm going to group on item SKU here. And I'm going to roll with what we have up top here. So if you want to process everything, great for that. If you want to process individuals, that's what I'm going to do here just to save us some test data within here. So I'm going to just go with our top 4. Also, it's going to be faster too to do this. So there are 2 things you can do. Number 1 is you can do this without placing it into a batch. So if you selected all these orders, you go to the actions and you go to process orders, or even just going straight here that saves you a click. What this does when you hit process orders, that tells ShipHawk, I'm going to book this shipment and I want my label right now for it. So it does assume the order is already created perfectly and that it's already ready to go. So, and that's again the core competency of ShipHawk, is taking that decision making away from you, so you're way more efficient here and don't have to worry about the packaging outcomes. So you can also, and Bill, this is going to be more of a call for you, if you want to work out of batches here for collections of orders, what you want to do here is click on new batch. So to get one going, because you don't have one right now. So I'm going to click on this new batch right here. It's going to assign a number here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as they come through. So I have one out there right now. It says who created it and when did they create it. So you can clear it's me. It happened just now. To add orders to a batch, what you're going to do is find your orders, select them, and hit this plus sign to add them to the batch. Okay. So you're going to see in that batch, it tells me how many orders are currently in that batch. And well, if I want to see them, I'll just click on the batch. And then you're going to see this is my collection of orders right here. And then from there are a few things you can do. Number 1, the ultimate goal is I want labels, right? I want to book these shipments. So everything in here, process orders. That's likely what you're going to do every single time. You can also remove orders from the batch. You can just delete the batch. If you do that, it just deletes the batch. And the batch is really just a view of orders. It doesn't delete the orders. It just says, hey, delete this custom view from ShipHawk, and the orders still exist. So you're not doing anything bad there. You can process orders for this batch, which is the same thing as this guy. So multiple ways of getting the same job done. Remove selected orders from the batch, remove everything from the batch, get it all out of here. That would do that as well. So you can also, from these actions, a lot of things you can do. You can print pick tickets from here. That's probably going to be the best thing you're going to do for this. Master pick ticket as well, if you're going to utilize that for all of the orders on one pick ticket. The rest of this stuff is a lot of post shipment booking. So you can print it. It still isn't the batch, but I think probably these 2 are the best of the bunch for batch processing. You can change statuses here too. So a bulk update of statuses. And speaking of bulk updates, you can also update all of the orders currently in the batch and say, hey, the origin's got to change, the destination's got to change, the carrier for everything's got to change, the packaging details. I doubt you're going to use that. We don't want to use that. Customs, tags. You can add tags for everything in there all at once instead of individually going to orders and adding tags, or you just get rid of all your tags too. So if there's something you need to change about a lot of orders, bulk update could be handy. Last couple things in here, you can place orders on hold in batch. you can combine orders as well. So the use case would be you have the same destination for many orders. You can combine those orders together, and then it will write back to NetSuite appropriately on each item fulfillment as well. So I'm not going to go into detail about that for this training, but it is possible to combine orders if you want to create one fulfillment for many sales orders going to the same destination. And then last is delete selected orders. Don't want to do that. You initiate deletion from NetSuite. And last is our lightning, which is this process orders thing. So I'm going to show you actually how that works, process orders. So again, I'm going to hit process orders. What it's going to do is it's going to start trying to get these out of here, being processed. Right here, it spins, letting you know it's working. And then, so you can close this window. I just like for it to tell me that it's successful. Close it here too. All right. And everything goes perfectly for every demo, as you know. So, see, I'm gonna open this guy up here. It's the same thing. And we go back here. There's my batch. I'm just gonna try to roll with this one more time here. And what I'm gonna do is if this doesn't, if I end up with an issue with this one, I'll revisit this later for this training. I'll show you what would happen is you just get your labels coming out of the label printer here at this point, and also packing slips as well if you've enabled the printing of packing slips at the same time. But from here, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to show you how to individually process orders if there's an issue with it. If you see that with the carrying service, I have an issue with it and need to change it, I'm going to show you how to do that in ShipHawk. So if you open up the order by clicking on it, you're going to see all of the details. This is what's being automated for you, which is the decision of carrier and packaging right here. So left-hand side, you're going to see a lot of source information. So everything coming to us from NetSuite. So going to have that right here, which warehouse your packing slips find, channel right there. So nice informational display. Notes right there. That's the internal notes that you're using today for fulfillment. If you want to add anything to that, change it, look at it, you can go to edit notes. It doesn't have any notes, so let's add a note to it. So then we're going to go underneath here. And then, so I don't have anything particularly creative to put in here. So important order notes.
And this should populate y'all kind of as normally from NetSuite with the same notes format you're used to, because that's created at the NetSuite level and should just flow right into here.
Exactly.
Again, these are Amazon orders, which is why you're not seeing notes. But for wholesale orders or Shopify orders, you'll see the standard notes template you're used to.
Yep. And then also, if you wanted to add more notes, click on the plus sign, more notes. And then you're going to see that dropping down right there, a little bit grayed out, but you can see it hanging out right there. You can remove it, save it, and they're gone. So you can add, edit, and delete notes straight from here. And it should be automatically populating for you as well. Source system, this is pretty static. It's NetSuite, it's production NetSuite. So this will always be the same. Then shipments. This is a log of all of the shipment activity against the order. So there's one shipment right now, and it's the suggested shipment, and that's this. ShipHawk suggests you do this. So it looks at all of your item data, your packaging configuration, and then decides, hey, I think the best thing you could do is send this via FedEx Smart Post, and I suggest you do that, but you don't have to. So you can always override this manually. Ideally, this is a rare case, and then all the decision making is done for you, and you can just ship all of these in batch. But I'm going to show you how you can change a couple things. So shipments right now, just the one, not shipped. It's one SKU that implies the existence of a shipped status of things. It will show you if you had partially fulfilled the order, it would tell you what has not yet been shipped. References here, this is driving automation in ShipHawk. So these are, we're getting these from NetSuite to drive the behavior of ShipHawk. So it's informational, no need to change this. Then tags, they live here too. If you want to add tags in here, for instance, I'm just going to put Amazon just as an example. If I type that out, hit enter, it adds the tag, more tags. You can see how they separate out right there. So these are really helpful for any kind of not outliers, but specific instructions for orders that would help you fulfill these. So pretty well leveraged within ShipHawk for a lot of our customers. Then customer, this is the same thing that we're going to see up here, which is the destination right up top here. So no need to scroll all the way down to see that. So I'm going to keep living up here. We're going to start working with the middle and everything you see here. So order number, you're seeing it right up top again. You're going to see that ShipHawk thinks you should send this via FedEx Smart Post. It's this one shipment. Well, there could be many shipments if need be. For a lot of your orders, though, it's going to be a single shipment. So you can also see, hey, how did ShipHawk determine what it should do? It says I took an 8 by 4 by 4 box and said that I think one of these guys should go in that box. It's a reference here to see what the outcome of the packing algorithm determined in ShipHawk. Then origin, destination, coming to us from NetSuite, and then manual address verification. We can turn on auto verification in ShipHawk or also auto correction. Right now it's sitting at manual. So if you wanted to do this, if you didn't have a double check, if you didn't verify it upstream already, click on verify address. And actually this one says, no, it's not quite right here. So it's actually a commercial residential mismatch. We're getting this from NetSuite right here. So the default value for an address in NetSuite is commercial. There's a flag at the address level that says, is it residential? And by default, it's not checked. So commercial is the default. So, and then you could say, yep, thanks ShipHawk, thanks for the catch there. You can also say that it's neither is correct and just manually edit it, but we're going to take Smarty Street's advice and we're going to use it. So now we're getting a little bit better looking address right here. So Bill, you can let me know what you want to do about verification in here. I just have it as manual so you don't get charged for every single time an order arrives into ShipHawk today. So, so then we have down here, carrier information. You can manually change this within ShipHawk. I think the best thing to do and easiest thing to do though is just compare carrier rates. If you ever had to, you were curious, hey, what could I do? These are all the rates you get for that particular package configuration. So it sorts it from cheapest to the most expensive, right down there. So
there are, just like in ShipStation, guys, there are rules that we can write to automatically choose certain carrier rates or certain boxes. Right now it is set to cheapest. So over the next week, we can work to put our heads together and kind of write these rules for what should be chosen when.
Exactly. All right. So I'm gonna go with I'm just gonna keep it with Smart Post there. And then so within the middle here, it says you should use an 8 by 4 by 4. You can change this. So with your mouse, you could change the materials right here. So these are the custom materials that you guys have. These are the carrier materials that you could apply to it. You can also use barcodes to do this if you wanted to as well. That I don't see a whole lot of use for because again, we want ShipHawk to make this decision for us. This would be a rare case that we're coming in here modifying it. So I think the mouse is probably just fine here. You could choose the material. So for instance, I'm just going to change this to show you can do it. So it's saying, and it changes the packaging configuration for you right there. You could also manually type it out if you wanted to as well. I have this box I just made up right now, but I'd probably like you to stick to what you actually have in there. So it's the 8 by 4 by 4. And then weight, value, all of that populating for you. And then some modifications to these guys for accessorials and order attributes for RMD, collect and delivery, insurance, signature requirements, return label. We can automate that being checked. If you want by default, it is not checked. Don't want to encourage people to return things. And then add insurance as well. You can check that off to do that for the shipment. Other things you can do, you said, hey, ShipHawk, I don't need just one package. I need 2 packages, 3, however many. You could use new package, and you can just tell it what the weight, the dimensions and weight and all that stuff in here would be. You can also get rid of it. Say, oh yeah, that was a mistake. Delete. Little trash can over here on the far right gets rid of that package. You can clone packages. Say, I want another one of this. It's telling you, hey, you don't have there's not enough stuff on this order to do that. You can say, I don't care, ShipHawk, and do that right there. But it is a nice warning that you're trying to do something that's impossible. And then it just clones this. Say, I want another of this. Again, we really don't want that, so I'm going to delete that. We're back to where we started. So ship date automatically defaults for you to today, and then you can modify that if need be. You can reset. This means that just take me back to my last save point. So all the things I've been clicking all over the place, but you know what? I don't save any of that. And that's reset. Takes you back to your last save point. And then the last thing here is after you made all your modifications, I probably want to ship this. So looking here, ShipHawk should automate all this decision making for you. All you should really have to do is if you're in here, just hit ship. And that's what I'm going to do. Just going to book this guy. So, and once successful, thanks ShipHawk, that's great. Let me just do this here. Just going to pick another rate real fast. And then we're going to go with, I'm going to go Pitney Bowes here in this case. Just in case it's FedEx being, that's interesting. That's interesting, Bill. All right, we'll worry about that later. So let's pick another. I want to get away from FedEx. Just wanted to use USPS, and they can have FedEx 2-day. Why not? Okay, cool. So, all right. So in this example, you're gonna the PDF's popping up with a label. In the real world for you guys, the label's printed out for you, and also the packing slip here. But I don't have a label printed in front of me, and even if I did, you couldn't see it. So this is pretty good right here. You've seen FedEx labels before. They look the same as you'd expect. So I'm gonna close that out, and then
these labels are customizable. You also, if there's certain, we like order numbers on the label or whatever. I think Rob and I already customized it to have those things on here. But if there is a piece of information that is not on the label that you want on the label, we can add it.
Definitely. All right. And then from here, it's going to tell you, hey, this is what you just did. So you just shipped at FedEx 2-day. Here's what you shipped. How many of that did you ship? Here's the carrier estimated delivery date. And then here's the tracking number for it. You click on that. It's going to take you out to, this is a customizable branded tracking page. This is something that we're not providing for you today. So it just shows you basically visually, where is it currently? No updates yet because we just shipped it. So that makes sense, but it would display all of the updates from the carrier. And then, so more of a visual tool for you guys. This is something that some of our customers use to provide to their customers for tracking information, but for you guys, Elements brands, not so much. So
yeah, this isn't configured for us. Shopify does this, so customers will never see that.
So yeah, I like theirs. It's pretty nice. So from here, let's continue with this shipment since we're talking about this particular order. So if I click on that, this is the ShipHawk shipment ID. This is written back to NetSuite for reference as well, along with the true cost to ship, and what service, who shipped it. So if I click on that, we're going to see a lot of information about it. So all of this right here, no surprises. We know what we just did in there, but if for later, this could be valuable. Down here says who did it, and then when was it last modified right there. Also tracking information. This would display all of the carrier tracking updates. This takes you back to that branded tracking page that Shopify is going to provide for you. These notes here, these are shipment notes. These are different from order notes. If you wanted to add anything that was specific to the shipment, this is where that would live. So if you click on the plus sign, give it a subject, give it a description, save it, that's it. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. Documents, two places to do this from. One, you get the packing slip, you get the labels, and you can download them by clicking on that little cloud icon. You can also do it from up here, labels, packing slip. So two ways of doing the same thing. So you can do it as an image, you can all these different things here as well. So image is going to be what you're going to use though. Also, I got packages, what you ship, what's in there, and then functional things here, labels, return labels. Here, I think we'll want to configure this because we haven't talked about this, but your return labels by default, they use the same level of service and carrier that you shipped it out with. We can change that though to say that, hey, yeah, I might have sent this out FedEx 2-day. I don't need to get back to me in 2 days. I just need ground service. I want the cheapest thing. So we can default it to a specific service instead of using whatever it was, how it went out. So we print return label, then open it up, and here it is.
And we're not going to be using this very much, if at all, guys, but it's here.
Yeah.
Rob, when's the best time to talk about the difference between a packing slip and a pick ticket and how that's a little bit different in our implementation?
Right now.
Okay, cool. So the only thing that's a little weird about the way ShipHawk does it, or maybe it's weird about the way we do it, ShipHawk's definition of the term packing slip requires that shipping already be printed, the box already be shipped. But the way our flow is, we need to print those pack slips in advance, potentially before the shipping has been purchased. So what we have done is configured the pick ticket to look like a packing slip. So customers will actually get pick tickets in their boxes rather than packing slips. There's a document called the master pick ticket, which is what you guys are used to today from ShipStation, that has all the orders from the whole batch. So that continues to exist, master pick ticket. So right now we print a master pick ticket and all the packing slips that ride along with the batch. The only difference is in terminology. In ShipHawk, we will print a master pick ticket and then a bunch of individual pick tickets. And again, those templates are totally customizable. But when you see, that's just a terminology change you'll have to get used to. We are going to start in ShipHawk parlance putting pick tickets in the boxes rather than packing slips.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
No functionality change, is the naming change.
Excellent. All right. So with that's perfect. That's excellent. So a couple of other things that are within here. This print receipt, don't worry about it. It's actually a receipt. Hey, you shipped this. It's legacy functionality from whenever ShipHawk functioned more as a 3PL instead of a transportation management system. And then email docs, the return label would be the best thing here if you wanted to provide somebody with one within ShipHawk. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, as this could be a rare use case. And then exceptions, if you wanted to note an exception on the dashboard of ShipHawk, this is where it's done from. So exception code right here, it was international, let's just say, I don't know. I'm going to go with anything here. So, hey, see this from the carrier. If I save that, it will be up here in red, letting you know, hey, there's an issue with the shipment. And you can go back into here and say, actually, it's resolved. Update that. And then you can say, oh, wait, there's never a problem. Delete. So, like it never happened. So that's exception handling within here. References, don't worry about it. Cancel shipment, that could be useful. So you shipped it by accident. Want to cancel it? Great. It will void the label and it will send a notification. Well, actually, the carrier doesn't have to pick it up. This works really great if the carrier hasn't already picked it up. Voids the label. If the carrier has already picked up that label, you will need to contact the carrier to get that done. It will cancel it in ShipHawk, but it won't tell them, hey, FedEx, come on back with that. It's not going to do that. So that should be similar to what you're seeing today in ShipStation, and a lot of just other informational stuff. The order, you want to go back to the order that this came from. That's where we're going to go. So it says, well, this is all you have. You have a book shipment against this. So, and then tracking number, all that stuff. And then again, you've got your pick ticket, which is what you're going to be leveraging in ShipHawk right here. And you can also print other assorted documents from here. So that's order processing. Again, you're probably just going to be going into the orders, grouping them, process them. I think it might be FedEx that's getting us right now on these guys. So that's why they didn't book. So still have issues with it. Also during individuals. So I'm not gonna try to revisit that just due to time constraints. So we can always do that offline. And then so with that, guys, before we move on to just a couple of things for reporting and end-of-day manifesting, were there any questions on what you saw here before we move on?
Or anything you didn't see that you want to make sure you see?
Yeah.
I don't know to say. Probably a question for you, Bill. The master pick ticket. Is that going to break apart the bundle since it's communicating right with NetSuite, or we still need to use our own?
Yes, great question, Lou. We will no longer need to use our custom master pick ticket generator because this sees through bundles because it's NetSuite native.
Cool, that's awesome.
There's a good example. Can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yep, I will do that here. Yep, there we go. I'm just gonna there we go. Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's not quite a good example because this isn't a kit. Rob, do we have anything? See if you can find one that's a kit.
Sure. Yeah, let's see if I can do that here.
This might be tough because most of these orders are Amazon orders, and I don't think we.
Yeah, that's fine. I believe you.
All these, but it is. We tested it, guys, and it does see through.
Right. All right. So then, excellent.
Also, not for that, guys. it knows the individual dimensions of each item in the bundle and takes that into consideration when it plays Tetris to put it in the box size.
Cool. Nice.
Excellent. All right. So with that, we're going to move on to the last couple of things within ShipHawk, which is going to be end-of-day manifesting as necessary. It's only, I don't know what you're doing today for that for the drivers. I know a lot of drivers love that, but it's not required. So the requirements are express services for FedEx and hazmat for UPS, but you might still do it. And if you need to do it, under shipments, a little caret, and then the drop down, end-of-day manifests. So this is going to be something that you'll have to basically trust me that it's working. So it's really easy. So if you want to generate an end-of-day manifest, click on that. You tell it what's the date you want to close for, what's the warehouse, clearly it's that one, and then what carrier. There you go. And it tries to find things you need to do it for. It says, I have nothing for you because you don't have any UPS hazmat and you don't have any FedEx Express services booked out there for today either. So we'll find nothing. Now it will say, hey, I found this many. Do you want to close these? And you'll click on generate end of day manifest.
Do
Really
we need
simple.
this, guys? Is this something we do or?
That's something we do every day. Yes.
Okay, great. So it's right here.
So, and then it will kick it out for you. This would be a historical view of all the end of day manifests that you've created. And then you can search by close date. So that should be pretty nice for you. And then the last thing on reporting is under reports. We're going to have ship reports and order reports. Both of these just kick out Excel or CSV files so that you can take that data and then have another program consume that, or you can work right within the file as well. So I think shipment reports is the best thing here. So we're going to click on that. And then I have no report, so let's get one going. So actions, create a new report. And then it's going to ask you, hey, what's the date you need to do this for, or a date range within here. I'm going to change it to just something like way back just to get us a lot of information. So, and then it's going to ask you what values do you want to pull into this report. By default, it's everything. You can say, no, I just want a couple things. So clear it all off and then just select things that you want within here. Or say, yeah, no, that's great, but just take away a couple things from here and then just uncheck them. So I'm going to bring in everything for this report. So I'm going to hit create. And then it's being generated. You'll refresh your page. You see the listing of generated reports. And there it is, 5 shipments since February of last year. So we're going to go to shipments reports, and we're going to open this up. You'll download the file. It will download it for you. I'm going to change my share because this is not within Chrome. So go here and then go whole desktop there. All right, get rid of that. Open this up.
And guys, one thing, ShipHawk is a lot more advanced in a lot of ways than ShipStation, but I will tell you, and I think Rob will probably agree, their reporting, their dashboarding is not as advanced. Their graphical dashboarding. So you may, you have kind of that one dashboarding screen that we showed at the top of the call, but beyond that, you might find yourself doing a few more exports to manipulate your data in Excel. It's all there. And I know it's on their roadmap to continue building out dashboarding, but as of right now, their graphical dashboarding, there's a lot on the roadmap and less actually live in the app.
Yeah, I fully agree that it's not where we want it to be today, and it's going to get there for sure. So yeah, so this is just, you'll be kicking out Excel files, consuming them in other ways, manipulating the data here. So everything's there, just going to have to massage it a bit. So that's that report. The orders report works the same exact way. So, and I'm not going to generate it because it's the same thing. So order reports, and then create, and these are the data points we'll kick out for orders. So, and then the last thing I have for you guys today is probably, this actually does take you to, if you ever need help, this takes you actually to our support portal right here. So that's a quick link to that as well. Then also, and here within the Salesforce, the community for our customer portal, there's a lot of documentation in there as well, release notes, a lot of good stuff in there that you might want to take a look at other than just submitting tickets about some questions or issues you may have. And then also the just API, I think help takes you out to, it's the same place. Yeah, I think probably open that up. So, and then last is going to be signing out. If you certainly not required to do that, but logging out is right up here. Also user profile. It just asks you where do you want to land by default? Do you want to go to the dashboard first, orders first, or shipments first? Right up here for your preferences. So, and then last, log out, and it logs you out of ShipHawk. So that's what I have for you guys today. So it was in summation, the dashboard of ShipHawk, little BI business intelligence light dashboarding, then order, navigating the orders, how to find orders, group orders, filter orders, and process orders, shipment management, and a little bit of reporting, and a little bit of end-of-day manifesting. So with that, guys, is there anything I didn't cover that you're hoping you would see, or any questions about what you saw during this little training?
I don't think so.
I think I'm good. Yeah, looks pretty exciting. Yeah, just ready to get into it.
Are there any processes, y'all, that you do in ShipStation that you didn't see how to do in ShipHawk on this training? Like if you think through your kind of day-to-day, if you think through the wave building process, you know, is there anything you didn't see how to do?
No. No, I could, like, I feel I could go out right now and use ShipHawk to ship some stuff.
Okay, cool. One other clarification, because ShipHawk can rate automatically, it can rate and smart pack. When you guys are wave building, you actually could print the labels at that stage as well, rather than like we currently do and scan and print and rate shop later. If you want to do it the way we currently do it, you still can, because each of the pick tickets, which we are putting in the boxes formerly known as pack slips, has a barcode on it, which will scan and pull that order up inside of ShipHawk. So if you want to continue the same flow as we are today, you can with the scanners, et cetera, but you are now enabled, if you would like, and once you develop confidence in the rating algorithm, you can move that process to the wave building stage, and then you need no computers at all after the wave building stage. But you may want to try our same process today and print them one by one for a week or two, because then you'll get a human eyeball on everything that the algorithm picked, and then we can refine our rules.
Cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, then I really appreciate you all joining me today, taking the time out of your day to learn how to use ShipHawk. I'm going to post the recording in Basecamp for you, Bill. It's actually, I didn't use Zoom's recording functionality, but you might notice there's an attendee in our meetings called ShipHawk Note Taker. That's actually an app called Gong, which we use for all of our sales calls. So it recorded everything here. It also analyzes it too, and then has a text translation of it. So actually, I kind of like that a little bit better. So I'll post a link to that recording so you can use it in the future. And then otherwise, thanks, guys. Let me know if any comes up. There are any questions from this training that you have. Let Bill know, and let me know, and happy to answer them. So otherwise, guys, appreciate you joining, and Bill, we'll talk soon.
Great. And guys, just while I got you, you all have ShipHawk accounts now. I don't know if it sent you emails, but it's your Elements Brands email. Charlotte1 ! Is your password. If you've not, Lou, I think you're already in, so you probably have.
Yeah, I've been looking at it.
And Bill, I have some deep dive questions for you before we jump off. So once Rob leaves, can we actually pick your brain on a few things?
We're on Rob, so I'll send you guys a link right now. We'll hop on my Zoom and we can.
Sounds great.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you guys.